Bereshit, chapter 31. But then he heard what Lavan's sons were saying. Jacob has taken away everything that our father once had. It's from what used to belong to our father that he has gotten so rich. He also saw that Lavan regarded him differently than before. Adonai said to Jacob, "Return to the land of your ancestors, to your kinsmen. I will be with you." So Jacob sent for Rachel and Leah and had them come to the field where his flock was. He said to them, "I see by the way your father looks that he feels differently towards me than before. But the God of my father has been with me. You know that I have served your father with all my strength, and that your father has belittled me and has changed my wages 10 times. But God did not allow him to bring me any damage. If he said, 'The speckled will be your wages,' then all the animals gave birth to speckled young. And if he said, 'The streaked will be your wages,' then all the animals gave birth to streaked young. This is how God has taken away your father's animals and given them to me. Once when the animals were mating, I had a dream. I looked up, and there in front of me, the male goats which mated with the females were streaked, speckled, and mottled. Then in the dream the angel of God said to me, 'Jacob,' and I replied, 'Here I am.' He continued, 'Raise your eyes now and look. All the male goats mating with the females are streaked, speckled, and mottled. For I have seen everything Lavan has been doing to you. I am the God of Bethel, where you anointed a standing stone with oil, where you vowed your vow to me. Now get up, get out of this land, and return to the land where you were born.' Rachel and Leah answered him, 'We no longer have any inheritance from our father's possessions, and he considered us foreigners since he has sold us. Moreover, he has consumed everything he received in exchange for us. Nevertheless, the wealth which God has taken away from our father has become ours and our children's anyway. So whatever God has told you to do, do.' Then Jacob got up, put his sons and his wives on the camels, and carried off all his livestock, along with all the riches he had accumulated, the livestock in his possession, which he had acquired in Padan Aram, to go to Isaac his father in the land of Canaan. Now Lavan had gone to shear his sheep, so Rachel stole the household idols that belonged to her father. And Jacob outwitted Lavan the Arami by not telling him of his intended flight. So he fled with everything he had. He departed, crossed the Euphrates River, and set out for the hill country of Gilead. Not until the 3rd day was Lavan told that Jacob had fled. Lavan took his kinsmen with him and spent the next 7 days pursuing Jacob, overtaking him in the hill country of Gilead. But God came to Lavan the Arami in a dream that night and said to him, 'Be careful that you don't say anything to Jacob, either good or bad.' When Lavan caught up with Jacob, Jacob had set up camp in the hill country. So Lavan and his kinsmen set up in the hill country of Gilead. Lavan said to Jacob, 'What do you mean by deceiving me and carrying off my daughters as if they were captives taken in war? Why did you flee in secret and deceive me and not tell me? I would have sent you off with joy and singing to the music of tambourines and lyres. You didn't even let me kiss my sons and daughters goodbye. What a stupid thing to do. I have it in my power to do you harm, but the God of your father spoke to me last night and said, 'Be careful that you don't say anything to Jacob, either good or bad. Granted that you had to leave because you longed so deeply for your father's house. But why did you steal my gods?' Jacob answered Lavan, 'Because I was afraid. I said, suppose you take your daughters away from me by force. But if you find your gods with someone, that person will not remain alive. So with our kinsmen to witness, if you spot anything that I have which belongs to you, take it back.' Jacob did not know that Rachel had stolen them. Lavan went into Jacob's tent, then into Leah's tent, and into the tent of the 2 slave girls, but he did not find them. He left Leah's tent and entered Rachel's tent. Now Rachel had taken the household gods, put them in the saddle of the camel, and was sitting on them. Lavan felt all around the tent, but did not find them. She said to her father, Please don't be angry that I'm not getting up in your presence, but it's the time of my period." So he searched, but he didn't find the household gods. Then Jacob became angry and started arguing with Laban. "What have I done wrong?" he demanded. "What is my offense that you have come after me in hot pursuit? You have felt around in all my stuff, but what have you found of all your household gods? Put it here, in front of my kinsmen and yours, so that they can render judgment between the two of us. I have been with you for these 20 years. Your female sheep and goats haven't aborted their young, and I haven't eaten the male animals in your flocks. If one of your flock was destroyed by a wild animal, I didn't bring the carcass to you, but bore the loss myself. You demanded that I compensate you for any animal stolen, whether by day or by night. Here's how it was for me. During the day, thirst consumed me, and at night the cold. My sleep fled from my eyes. These 20 years I've been in your house. I served you 14 years for your daughters, and 6 years for your flock, and you changed my wages 10 times. If the God of my father, the God of Abraham, the one whom Isaac fears, had not been on my side, by now you would certainly have already sent me away with nothing. God has seen how distressed I've been and how hard I've worked, and last night he passed judgment in my favor." Laban answered Jacob, "The daughters are mine, the children are mine, the flocks are mine, and everything you see is mine. But what can I do today about these daughters of mine or the children they have borne? So now come, let's make a covenant, I and you, and let it stand as a testimony between me and you." Jacob took a stone and set it upright as a standing stone. Then Jacob said to his kinsmen, "Gather some stones." And they took stones and made a pile of them, and ate there by the pile of stones. Laban called it Yagar Sahaduta, or pile of witness in Aramaic, while Jacob called it Galid, pile of witness in Hebrew. Laban said, "This pile witnesses between me and you today. This is why it is called Galid, and also Ha-Mitzpah, the watchtower. Because he said, 'May Adonai watch between me and you when we are apart from each other. If you cause pain to my daughters, or if you take wives in addition to my daughters, then even if no one is there with us, still God is witness between me and you.'" Laban also said to Jacob, "Here is the pile, and here is this standing stone, which I have set up between me and you. May this pile be a witness, and may the standing stone be a witness, that I will not pass beyond this pile to you, and you will not pass beyond this pile and this standing stone to me, to cause harm. May the God of Abraham and also the God of Nahor, the God of their father, judge between us." But Jacob swore by one his father Isaac feared. Jacob offered a sacrifice on the mountain and invited his kinsmen to the meal. They ate the food and spent the whole night on the mountain.